Hey, welcome to Healthier and Happier Humans, episode 35. I'm Ashley McGee, and today we're going to talk about meditation. And before you go away, because you're like, that's way too hippy dippy, stay with me. This is actually in response to a question someone asked in my group. So if you are an active duty or veteran woman and you are not in my Healthy Women Warriors group, go get the link in my bio and get in that group, because it is a one-stop shop for great health tips, and you can ask questions that become show episodes. So there you go. But let's dive into it a little bit. And again, you may be super skeptical about meditation. I know I was. I was like, yeah, but does it really work? What's the point? And for me, I actually kept hearing people talk about transcendental meditation, TM, on podcasts. And I was intrigued, my interest was piqued, but I was like, yeah, but I mean, come on, transcendental meditation sounds way woo-woo, right? And it wasn't until I started seeing the data and the science behind it, and you may not know this, I have a master's in electrical engineering. I have an engineering type brain. I like data. And when I started to see actual data about improving, mental clarity, energy, what actually happens in your brain when you meditate, I was like, okay. And then the last kind of piece for me was finding out that the Department of Defense actually has put in a lot of money into research and development for using TM for vets and active duty military struggling with PTSD. And that was the last piece of it. I was like, okay, I need to give this a try. And for me, I constantly felt mentally just drained. Even having a full night's sleep, even, eating well, exercising, I just didn't feel like my brain was on the same level of health as the rest of me. So I wanted to figure out some way where I could be clearer and more energized. I was running a business and going through grad school at the same time, and I just felt like I was constantly thinking. So that's why I decided ultimately to look into meditation, and specifically for me, transcendental meditation, although I'm going to talk about different types in this episode. So don't go anywhere. But I personally have been practicing transcendental meditation for over a year, and it is seriously a game changer. I fully believe that every cadet or midshipman at the service academies need to learn TM. If you're deploying, you need to learn TM, because it is just amazing from the mental clarity point of it, yes, but when you're deployed and you're getting not enough sleep, it can actually help fill in those gaps. And I've definitely seen that play out in my own life, which has made me a huge believer and advocate of meditation. So I wanted to share a little bit about what meditation is. And Bob Roth is a world-renowned TM instructor. He runs the David Lynch Foundation, which is a nonprofit that essentially helps teach TM for health and wellness to underserved and underprivileged communities primarily. So it's a really cool organization. And he has a book called Strength in Stillness. And if you're just curious about meditation, especially TM, and you're not quite ready to jump in, I really recommend taking a look at that book. Or he also has a podcast right now, which if you just search Bob Roth, you'll find it. I can't remember the exact name of it, but they're less than 10-minute episodes. I think they're 5 to 10-minute episodes, and just daily meditation moments. So first, that's kind of the plug for if you want to learn more. These are the sources that I'm using. This is, and the book Strength and Stillness is where the information that I'm going to tell you comes from. So he explains meditation in this really cool analogy that I think makes a lot of sense. So imagine that you're in a boat in the middle of the ocean, and you're like, it's choppy, there's waves, you're being thrown around in the boat, and that, like, the surface of the ocean is kind of like the surface of your brain. It's what Bob Roth calls the gotta brain. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like constantly, like gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, go, go. You're constantly thinking about the next thing, about what you have to do. And you're, it's a lot of kind of turmoil and activity and energy. But if you go deeper down in the ocean, like go below the surface, it's calm, right? Like there's a lot, there's a lot of calm actually in the ocean. And so with meditation, a lot of people say that, they're searching for their inner calm. Well, where does that actually live? So there are 3 different approaches to meditation. And they each require a different level of effort and impact the brain differently, which I think is fascinating. So the first one is called focused attention. Second one is open monitoring. And then the third is automatic self-transcendence. Say that 3 times fast. So focused attention is what we tend to think of, like that classical, like pop culture, what meditation is, a guru sitting cross-legged and just clearing their mind and, experiencing the state of deep inner calm. But, it requires them to have like a clear mind, like no thoughts. If we put this back in the ocean analogy, that is like basically calming all of the waves around you in the ocean, which takes a ton of energy. It's a little daunting. And most people think that this is the only form of meditation. And so they'll try it and then they'll be like, I can't clear my mind of thoughts. I fail. I can't meditate. It's just not for me. But it's something that it takes a lot of effort. And this is crazy. So in the brain, this form of meditation increases gamma waves, which is the same thing that happens when you're focusing on a challenging task, like a math problem. So yeah, it's difficult. And it's definitely not a form of meditation that's, going to work for everyone because of the level of effort it takes. Okay. So that is, again, focused attention. Second one is open monitoring. And this is kind of the opposite of focused attention, where instead of trying to clear your mind of thoughts, you're allowing your thoughts to come. And you're basically observing them without judgment. Thoughts come in, they go out. You review your thoughts calmly and like stay very present. But back to the ocean analogy, this is like simply sitting in your boat and observing that there are waves and you're bobbing up and down. And that's just kind of open monitoring. You're very present, you're very calm, you're aware. And it's more of a mindfulness approach. It can help you become more present and centered, especially during like really stressful experiences, because it allows you to detach from the emotion of your thoughts. So it is a great coping tool, especially if you find yourself in very stressful situations, or if you consider yourself someone that's a little bit more highly emotional. Okay. And then the last category is automatic self-transcending. And as you may have guessed, this is the category that transcendental meditation falls into. Crazy how that works. So going back to our ocean metaphor, again, I mentioned the surface. It's where it's all choppy and wavy, right? But you start to go, actually really not that far down, right? Like sinking down to the depths of the ocean. It's calm. I mean, if you've ever been like scuba diving or, anything like that, like it's silent, it's calm. And in our minds, we have a place like that. It's considered, science calls it restful alertness. And TM essentially allows you to reach that place by transcending beyond the surface Thegada mind into that inner state of restful, calm alertness. And I still very clearly remember the first time I ever tried TM. And again, like this is the first time I tried meditating. I was not thinking that I was going to see anything. And it was the most profound state of calm and relaxation I had ever experienced. Like I lost, I didn't really like sense my like hands and feet anymore, which I know sounds weird. But I felt so calm, so relaxed, so rested. And just doing it once. So I was like, okay, I'm in. But there's like that, what I felt, like there's actual like craziness that's happening in the brain. By craziness, I mean calmness. Again, I nerd out a little bit about this. So, they have found when your body reaches this state, a reduction in high blood pressure, 30% reduction in the stress hormone cortisol, and an increase in serotonin. And my favorite part is TM actually creates a state of rest in your body that's deeper than sleep. So that's why I think it's such a like amazing tool for our military members, because a lot of times just by the nature of our job, we don't get enough sleep. And again, TM can actually help fill in those gaps. So if you're not getting enough sleep, like literally you can balance that out a little bit more with 20 minutes a day of meditation. By the way, they recommend twice a day, but you can get away with once a day and still notice massive benefits. So I know that's a ton of info, but I really hope that at a minimum, this episode piques your interest and encourages you to at least look into it a little bit more. There's no harm in doing some research. And again, if you're someone that feels like you're just constantly energetically drained, you don't have a lot of mental clarity, you can't focus, you can't remember things, I would really, really recommend looking into this. Or if you're having a hard time coping with stressful situations, I know like this recording is during the time of the COVID pandemic. This is a really hard time for a lot of people. So I highly, highly recommend that you take a look at the different resources, and I will post some TM resources in the comments on this show. And again, if you are active duty or a veteran woman, and then please come join my Healthy Women Warriors group, where we can talk more about all the fun things related to health and wellness and being a military woman. Well, until we talk again, go out and live your healthiest and most abundant life. Talk soon.